Good morning, everybody. Cobweb Rose here, and it is Easter Sunday. Happy Easter. Since I went to my church's Friday and Saturday services, I decided that today Riley and I are going to go cross off one of my bucket list hikes here in North Carolina. We are headed for Grandfather Mountain. Where you go, Riley, bud? All right, it's 8:50 and we are finally on trail. It looks like it's going to be a beautiful day. Maybe with a little sprinkle of rain, not sure. Just filled out my permit to hike and grabbed a map and passed a bunch of boot brushing and shoe cleaning stations. And there were signs all up in the bathroom about please don't clean your shoes in the sink. So not really sure why that's a problem. Guess we'll find out. But I'm excited to hike this trail. Also, this is a 7.4 according to All Trails. Potentially up to 7.7 if my math from the Grandfather Mountain State Park website is right, mile out and back trail that will climb up the side of Grandfather Mountain, up that famous face profile. And I'm doing the little side trail over to Callaway Peak, which is the highest point in Grandfather Mountain State Park. So it should be pretty fun. I'm excited to be out here on trail again. And especially because Riley's joining me today. Which, by the way, this trail is not recommended for pets because it does involve ladders and climbing. But I'm wearing a framed day pack today that Riley actually fits in. So you guys might see her riding shotgun in a little bit as we do a little friendly scramble and just enjoy being out in nature. So according to this Watauga View Peaks and Pipes signboard I'm looking at, we can see Whitetop Mountain and Mount Rogers, which I climbed on the AT, and Snake Mountain, the Peak, and Elk Knob in North Carolina. So we're looking towards Virginia right now. Ugh. This humidity is gross. We're starting to get steep now, and this trail has so many switchbacks. There's another one. So I didn't know there was a campsite on this trail. And I looked up and I was like, there are bear cables there. And sure enough, there's a campsite right over there. But for those of you who have seen earlier videos where I talk about bear cables, this is what they are. This is what they look like. The little rings on the side to keep the squirrels from running across, and then cables with a pulley system so you can pull your food bag up. The more you know. This trail is so pretty. Just came through a bunch of moss-covered rock steps, and now I'm climbing up through a rhododendron tunnel, and it's beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Found a nifty little cave. There's the profile view. Shanty Spring. Apparently the last shore water source. All right, Riley gets to hitchhike from here on out. As you can see, Riley has scored herself a ride. This section reminds me so much of the Northeast on the Appalachian Trail. It's beautiful, it's wooded. Also, if you guys are hiking this trail, make sure when you see that Shanty Springs sign, you take a right, because it's not super well marked, and there is what looks like a trail that goes to the left, but that's not the one you want. I'm currently climbing a very long stone staircase up the side of the mountain. This is incredible. Can't even imagine how much work this took to put in here. Wow. Hey there, dear. This is the part of the trail where I wish you guys had smell-o-vision because it smells so good. It smells like Christmas. Also, there was just a deer back there that I got to see. This is so beautiful. So we swapped over to Blue Triangle Blazes for the 0.4 one-way Callaway Peak. We'll turn around when we get there, and it's steep. Watauga View, 100 feet to the left. Why not? And Callaway Peak, 0.1 to the right. I'll do that right after. Wow. "100% Blue Blaze, the Blue Blaze to the Watauga View." It's gorgeous. First ladder. All right, we summited Callaway Peak. This is such a good day. You know, these ladders are sketchier going down, especially because that one's a little wonky. This reminds me so much of Vermont. Love a good Easter rock scramble. This is awesome. Ugh. There's our way down, but it comes with a great view. So this is what I'm coming down right now. It's a lovely little extra steep rock scramble. And there's a lovely 60-year-old gentleman named Tim who I've been hiking with. And we are almost to Swinging Bridge. This looks like fun. Hang a left. I see a blaze to the left.
That way?
Yep.
I would say that's a little tight.
That's probably the point of it. That's what makes this stuff fun. Now this is my kind of fun. Love a good labeled ladder. We'll head up there to McCrae Peak. I like how all of these ladders are slightly off kilter. This is true, but then would I get to climb a sketchy ladder? Yeah, so this is just, I think this is just the side blaze up to McCrae Peak since we're passing it, but the trail keeps going that way. We're on McCrae Summit and it is beautiful and it's a perfect day. So from McCrae Summit, you can see the Mile High Bridge, which is the tourist attraction on top of Grandfather Mountain. But the view from up here is absolutely incredible. I'm like 99% that that's Callaway Peak that we came from earlier. We are cruising this ridge line. In true form, this one's wonky too. I'm really enjoying these ladder climbs. And we're almost to the Mile High Bridge. Come on, Tim, this is speed ladder climbing.
You're like Donkey Kong, slide down, right?
Well, I don't think I'm that good. It is busy up here today. Big traffic jam on the ladders. And there's the trail. The ladder looks so much cooler from the bottom. This trail's a lot of fun. There's a lot of cables, there's a lot of rock scrambles, there's a lot of ladders. But the only thing I could think of doing this little rock scramble is, we did all of this in Vermont, New Hampshire, and Maine, except the rocks were all wet and we had no cables. I guess we do really like type 2 fun. We are finally almost to Swinging Bridge, the Mile High Bridge. So the route I picked for today actually didn't have me going this far. This was just a bonus for me. By a bonus, I mean a lot more miles and a lot more work. Also, it's getting really crowded because Grandfather Mountain's kind of a tourist attraction. So there's the trailhead from the actual summit of Grandfather Mountain that you can drive to. But of course, we walked from a really long way away. And since we walked all the way up here, I'm going to the Mile High Bridge. All right, we summited and walked the bridge. Time for some lunch and then we gotta head back. So Riley and I just ate lunch at the summit of Grandfather Mountain, which as you can tell is kind of a zoo right now. And we're gonna take advantage of those flush toilets at the visitor center before hitting the trail again and heading back down the way that we came. So all those ladders we did down earlier, we now get to go up. Should be fun. Right, Riley? All right, it's 2:10. We are finally starting our return trip from the Mile High Swinging Bridge. And I think it's probably gonna be around 4-ish miles because it was about 5.5 to get here, but I detoured a couple of times. So shouldn't be too terrible. Although everything I just came down I now must go up. Ew. And everything I just went up I now must come down. Maybe more of an ew? I don't know. Either way, it's gonna be a hard return hike, but it's been a ton of fun and it's a gorgeous day. And Riley in her little pack has been the star attraction. Literally, everyone's like, can we take a picture of your dog? Can we pet your dog? Your dog is cute. She is. I agree with all of these things. Finally did the up part of those ladders. Still got some more to go. Not gonna lie, still pretty fun. I'm gonna take a breather for a minute. Few things you guys should know if you're hiking this trail. 1, start early in the morning. You're gonna need all day. 2, this is slow going, even for experienced hikers. I obviously don't have my trail stamina anymore that I did from through hiking the A2 last year, but let me tell you what, guys, I feel like this trail going from profile parking to swinging bridge and back requires the stamina of a day in the whites. So be mindful. Also, make sure you have the right clothes. Part of this is exposed and it's about 10 degrees cooler out in the wind on the exposed rock than it is in the trees. And if there is foul weather for the day, rain, snow, sleet, ice, thunderstorms especially, do not hike this trail. It's not worth your life. I lost count. If you're gonna hike with a dog in your backpack, make sure you are prepared to hike with that much weight when you are going straight up and straight down, and make sure you've got enough food and water for your tiny 4-legged friend, which I do, but that's also extra weight. There was something else important I was gonna tell you guys. Make sure you register to hike. Have fun. Oh, and if you're afraid of heights, maybe skip this one. There's a lot of ladders, very vertical, not straight ladders, up and down, because this is an out and back trail no matter which way you approach it from. And there's also a lot of bouldering and cliff walking. So if you don't like the heights, maybe choose a different trail. But all in all, this trail is really fun. I'm having a blast. Always remember, what comes up must also then go back down if you're hiking it out and back. And yes, the rock is still probably going to be wet and slippery. If you guys want something less strenuous that doesn't involve all the ladders and climbing and skips McCrae Peak, take the yellow Underwood Trail. It's a bypass. I think there's still one ladder on it, but I'm fairly certain it's less crazy than going on the Grandfather Trail, which has all the ladders. Sunglasses are off because it's time to do our little low-key caving adventure the other way. So I know a lot of people don't like to do longer hikes on trails that have a lot of tourists. And I get that, because a lot of times they don't know the rules of the trail, they're not very kind, like they're just out to have a good time and you're kind of in their way. This really is not that trail. Like, the people I've run into all up and down this trail, going both directions, have been so nice, so sweet. A bunch of them stopped to talk. Met a random guy named Tim on the way up that I hiked with. Great guy, going way farther than I am today. And then that last segment before Mount McCrae, it reminded me of the day that I was going southbound on the AT and running into all my northbound friends, because I'd already passed all these day hikers as they got out and back as well. And everybody was so nice. They're like, oh, you're the lady with the dog. Yeah, that's me. So honestly, guys, this trail's great all around. Hard, but really great. Oh yeah, back up the scramble. Okay, so I ran into some people going the other way. They said the Indian Cave House is like 30 yards that way. Super cool. So I'm gonna give it a quickie out and back, Blue Blaze, just to see what it's about. I like caves, should be fun. I found the Indian Cave House. This is so cool. Wow. It's a huge space. Now on the rock walk back towards Callaway. Man, it's so beautiful today. Okay, so we made it back to the connector, to the profile trail. So we're headed back down all these beautiful stone steps. And just so you guys know, if you are coming up the profile trail and you intend to go all the way to the swinging bridge, just know when Shanty Spring says it's the last source on the trail, it means it. There is no water between Shanty Springs and Swinging Bridge. None, not even like a trickle. So if you are doing that, make sure you've got enough water for an semi-exposed ridge walk that is extremely strenuous. And furry friends, of course, if you have them. Or in my case, make sure you have a filter so you can drink all your water on the hike and fill up on the way back down. You know, the fun part about an out and back hike is that the back part always seems like you're going so much faster, even if it's uphill part of the way. What do you think, Riley? Riley? I let her hitchhike all the way. We've still got a bit to go. All right, so here's my review. I ended up hiking from the profile parking area, which is off the highway and in the state park, so you don't have to pay for it, to Callaway Peak, doing the little 100-yard side trail to the Watauga View, which was gorgeous. From Callaway Peak all the way over to Swinging Bridge, and then from Swinging Bridge to the Indian Rock House, and from the Indian Rock House back to the trail again, and back straight to the profile parking area. It was very strenuous. It was very difficult, especially because my backpack weighed a little more than a day pack normally would, with that cute little pup on board. I definitely agree that pets would have a very hard time on this trail. So if you do choose to bring yours, maybe consider bringing a way to also help carry your pet with you, should they need that kind of help. And also, I keep passing day hikers on my way down who have like no gear and like shorts and t-shirt on, and it's well after 4:30, and that parking area down there closes at 8. And some All Trails comments said that rangers come through at like 7:30, 8 o'clock to kick people out. This is not a trail you want to start after 4 p.m., especially if you have nothing with you, because you are not going to make it from the profile parking area to Callaway Peak and back before the sun sets, and you get in trouble with rangers. And they will send out a search party for you for the Grandfather Mountain like official ranger guide thing after 8 o'clock if you don't call a specific number and say, hey, I'm late getting off the mountain. So maybe don't do that, just saying. But this trail is super pretty. Would 10 out of 10 hike again. Had a blast. Reminded me a lot of a cross between the Smoky Mountains and Vermont and a little bit of New Hampshire and Maine. So it was just an all-around blast, and it was a gorgeous day, and I'm fairly certain I got sunburned, but it was worth it. 10 out of 10 recommend. Try this trail. Well, we just finished. It took us about 8.25 hours. It was about 11.5 miles for the whole route. I am tired and a little sore, and it was well worth it.